What you got there?
I don't know. I don't know, we're gonna find out. We don't have speakers.
Insulated bag.
Microphone? Thank you, appreciate it.
I'd rather listen and talk.
I flew. Gotta notice you flew this morning back from, at, I don't know, 1 a.m. Got in and so I'm.
Yeah, so your whole day's long.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, we'll try it out.
We need to get, it's been a month, we gotta retrain both of you guys.
So, the way this works is
Nah.
Yeah, a lot more up north.
Yes.
First keep them in water.
Oh, really? Morning?
Hey, Sue.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. For meeting.
Keeping out of trouble?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Okay, so over
Hi,
here,
Sue.
item that
Hey.
How are you? Didn't get it in 13, you're noting that over here.
Oh, good.
So if I see anything
It's
else
all
here,
good.
I would refer it as being new in those years it was purchased.
We try.
Okay.
If we buy something, yeah, I mean, we try to know the best over here what we can. Like bringing gate control, we just got that this year. Got the 5-year life. Formula that pushes it out.
Well, the appreciation's for television. I wouldn't sure that's television.
Yeah, and this is, I'm trying to work.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's awesome, you know, it's
Get down to
when we
night.
buy it.
A bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Go back to California.
Good day for that.
Yeah.
The total's down to 2020.
Should have put up a Christmas
So
tree
what-
now.
so it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically trying to stay under what we can spend.
But you say these are automatically coming to every year.
Oh, there's a formula based on this estimated life. So we're using placed in 2020.
So it's just based off this column.
Looking for the settings moving over there because he got sick and tired of this angle of seeing your face. He wanted to see you from that side.
Oh, that's good. I really just wanted to put that to you.
Right, my life.
Oh, and yes, we are live, by the way.
So what it
They
does,
can't hear us, but we're live.
it comes down to,
They can never hear me, Steve.
it says this number here.
Actually, they might be
It
able to.
says, okay, how many more?
Without it.
This is what we would
Good afternoon.
I'm not a big fan.
And so it just tries to roll the depreciation cost.
I think we should try it without.
This is basically
Yeah,
what we
this
can
thing's-
actually spend
Like
cash
it's, I
wise.
don't know, it's picking it up from out there. It's got a little it's got a little microphone built right into it.
Depreciation
Okay.
expense.
Let's just try it with that.
About how much cash we can actually spend in a given year. So you gotta keep this number somewhat under 120-ish.
That's all we started here in a second.
Going on the tour. Hypothetically putting in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is just based off the real cost.
This is just like annual planning, like what we can spend in cash on replacement equipment. Yeah, we don't, been busy. Really.
So now we release the so it's still not as part of your
Is that?
you build a house or something on a certain grade. Do I talk into this end or this end? And
I have an idea what I'm gonna do.
All right,
It just runs down.
let me see.
Where's the microphone, Randy?
Randy.
No, we're gonna try it out.
Okay.
It looks like, actually, you can pick that up and pretend, like you probably already, when you had hair, you probably used a hairbrush when you'd sing.
Say. All right, moving right along.
Hey, don't give me those openings. Okay, we have guests, but what we're gonna do is, let's go through the stuff that we always start with, and we will move, they're already the first couple things we're gonna talk about, the lake issues, and at that point, we will invite Greg and Sue to share their expertise and knowledge. How's that?
Sounds good.
Make sense?
Perfect.
All right. You want to cover the numbers?
Yeah, capital fund, 145,604. Depreciation fund total, $87,689. Delinquencies from October was 19,581 for regular assessments, and delinquencies as of November was 19,112. Road delinquencies went down from 404,520 down to 2,748. Special assessment account, Popular Bank, we have $101,205. Dam repair checking, $167,481 for a total of $268,686.
Okay. We won't do the next two at this meeting, although we're going to discuss them a little bit later. Moving right along, news and notes, lottery kiosk application submitted.
Has been submitted. The next step is I have to go get a background check, which I'm going to do that Thursday. Then the lady from the Lottery Commission is coming out tomorrow. We're going to show her where our idea is on putting the kiosks and get her feedback on that. So we'll get that moving here as soon as we possibly can.
Just curiosity, the background check, is that just state or federal or?
Yeah, BCI, FBI, yeah.
Good luck.
Got to go through the whole thing.
They're going to find out that he's been in the witness protection program for the last 11 years.
Yeah.
Now we know we didn't want the microphones out here.
There you go.
Okay, I got it now.
Are you looking for both sites right here?
Both sides.
Yeah, we've already picked a spot in both rooms for it. And I think it'll work. Okay. And that covers the background check in.
Yeah.
Background check, you said you're going to do that Thursday?
Thursday afternoon, yeah. What's going to happen for that? It's the closest. What's the closest place?
Okay, why don't you go ahead and move on to the, anybody got any questions on the lottery kiosk or any of that? Alright.
Well, when we purchased the new F-150, we didn't get a radio in it, and there's quite a few times when they've needed a radio because the handheld won't work in certain places in the hills, and that's why I'm requesting a mobile for in the new truck. $603 for the mobile and the antennas and power supply and that type of thing.
So the walkie-talkie itself won't work? Is that just running off?
In areas, in
Okay,
places.
is that just running off the antenna on the walkie itself?
Yeah.
Do you have any antennas? You can just try putting an external antenna on it?
And hooking it to the walkie-talkie. I don't know. We could try that.
I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're gonna buy an antenna either way. It might be worth a shot and.
Well, we may have
$200 here.
We may have some older ones that we could try. Let's see if that would help us.
Just wire it and plug into the handheld.
Possibly, yeah.
You get a lot
You
more.
can even have an extension on
You get a lot more gain on it, for the antenna getting out and be able to.
Right.
You're gonna buy the antenna anyways. It might be worth a shot to try that.
it. Good idea.
Don't know if it'll work.
Yep, we'll see. Good, good.
Sounds logical. I mean,
We can get one.
Is there a radio in that Dodge Dakota? We still have that Dodge?
Yeah, we still have that.
Is there a radio?
I'm
in
not
there?
sure if there is or not.
They don't use that much, do they?
Just a golf course.
Possibly to take on.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever put one in that. I mean, we've got them in the backhoe, we've got them in the dump truck. I don't know if we've ever put them in the Dakota. I'll check.
I'll bet looking into an antenna makes a big difference. It's actually the vehicle is part of the antenna.
Yeah.
If you put an antenna on there, the whole thing becomes.
I didn't know if the handhelds were more powerful than, or less powerful than.
Yeah, didn't have that capability of using it, but I would think it's the opposite.
Okay. I got the spreadsheet,
But it'll be interesting.
later. Okay. Yeah, well, that laptop's been through a lot. Okay, discussion items. We actually have two sediment trap / lake issues. The first one, I think, is the engineering, that's the one.
Bull Hill,
The old Boar Hill Road
area, yeah.
area down by John Blankenship's. And go ahead.
Well, that was, I think that was, I didn't bring that quote with me. I think I was around 10 grand just to do the engineering, which doesn't include the actual construction.
Correct.
I think it's important. I mean, if we're gonna put one there, which is needed, if you've seen what's been backed up down there, I think it's important to do the engineering to get it right in the first place, because we've already tried experimenting with sediment traps and they didn't work. The one that was engineered that we haven't torn apart works great.
So we have tried building our own,
Yeah.
and have we done that? So it's not something you just learn off of and apply to the next one?
Well, you could try.
No.
No, it is.
Yeah, I mean, we did that. It blew out the first heavy rainstorm.
So you've got different amounts of water coming down, you've got different contours, you
Might need
yeah. You've got different amounts of water. Fortunately, several years ago, when we did this thing the first time, 2LMN did all the diagnostics of the different streams that feed the big lake. And so they came with that information already, how big the watershed was and how much water was coming in at that point. Now, it may have changed some, since they'd like to come back out and take a look at it as part of this process, just to make it right. But you've got different elevations where it comes down and things like that.
I get it. I mean, if you go out here in a storm, you can see some surprising areas where it's rushing and the volume is surprising. It's more than you would intuitively ask. I've never really taken a close look at them myself, so I was wondering, is when you said that two element
Yep.
have done that analysis of all of the lake flows?
Pretty much.
So they know
They
where-
did a topographical, we asked them several years ago, probably way 10 years ago, we started getting involved in things. So it was 2 engineers before the one we're working with now. That's how long ago it was. It was back when Jeremiah, Kurt Sean were working. And they did that work at that time. And then Keith Rowley with them as well. And so they looked at how much and what it would take. So what we selected at that time, we knew the 2, well, the worst one or the biggest one was up in North Park. And that's the one that we built. And we were thinking about building another one on Beaver Lane.
Right.
And it was less expensive and less substantial, and for various reasons, political reasons, we didn't go forward with it. But they also looked at several of the other, the flow from the main streams that are on the west side of the lake. And so they estimated, they shot them, they did some preliminary analytics, and so they had that information.
I'm just wondering if that, the money we're about to spend, or if we are about to spend, gives us a leg up on other entry points where we might want to put one in. Because I would imagine all of the inlets, major inlets, are causing much the same problem. We just don't know it yet because we haven't looked.
I think we know that they are.
Okay.
I mean, I would agree with you. It's just a matter of-
I'm just trying to get the breadth of the whole possible investment. John's is an issue now.
Oh, yeah, you can see it coming out there, and north end has been problematic, so sort of a question of, taking it on as
I'm just,
a multi-year program probably makes a lot of sense.
Every cove somewhat got a.
Yeah,
dimension
and-
to it. We're just-
This one is, I was surprised being in there, the difference. There was some significant elevation that comes off, because it comes off right there by Bora Lake, and it comes down, so you can see why there's a lot of velocity.
Yeah.
And as a result, a lot of material that comes down, more than, I never walked back there before to see it, but when we went there that day, it was, you know, the drop was significant again, and the drop of elevation increases the velocity of the water. The velocity of the water affects human silver again. Lower and flatter it is, not so much.
There's another one over on, off of Natchez, that, where Dryden's used to live.
Yeah.
That the lady that lived there, before had a sediment trap put in. Bill Brundage did, as a matter of fact, and it filled in.
They don't work if we don't dig them out.
Right. Well,
We gotta have access
that's on
to
private
them, we gotta
property.
be able to dig them
That's
out.
the problem. That's on private property. This one here, this one's the club property.
Right. If we could get, I mean, I'm sure those people would grant access to dig it out.
They come to Lake meeting about 3 months ago
They did.
and wanted to know what we could do. And I said, well, we don't have the money to do it. We knew it was private property. And we said we'd look at it, which we did. And we went out. I went out there and it was like you said, it's full up.
Yeah.
And I thought, she said, well, we're going to go ahead and do it. And that's all but nothing. I don't think anything's been done.
But, I mean,
And I told him if he needed to go to Randy and come to management and
Right.
talk about it.
Yeah, 'cause
if we don't dig them out on a regular basis, they're worthless.
Right.
They gotta be, say, in September when it's dry, when you can get a machine in there without tearing stuff up, that this has to happen every year. And, you know, like the traffic.
We're maintaining the one that's up in the north end now. And
Right.
we'll, obviously, if we put this one in, we'll maintain it. One's on private property, it's kind of their responsibility to maintain them, because we don't have it in our budget to take on.
Right.
But moving on, to give you guys, I'm not gonna read each line of this, but the quote's $10,250. The first section of 3,500 is survey and CAD base mapping, and they break that down. And then the next section is $4,500 drainage study, perform hydrologic analysis of watershed, calculate sediment storage volumes, and some more of that technical stuff. And the last piece is construction plan sheets, which is $2,250 for plans to, basically to us to hand to Downer or somebody that we have decided to have put in. Here's how to do it. So that's how that 10-2 breaks down.
So realistically, what's this going to cost them to put in?
Well, we don't have a cost. We don't have a construction cost. You have
10 grand, find out it's
You don't have a construction
50
cost.
that we can't afford, or,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's 50 grand to do.
What the one that,
It was 165,000.
Yeah, the last two.
Yeah, and I think that when we looked at the Beaver Dam one, the Beaver Lake one, I think that one, again, we're talking several years ago now, 2012, that assessment. I think it was estimated about 30,000. So it's not going to be cheaper than that. So.
Yeah, this one's probably gonna be more so than one on Beaver Lake. Yeah.
so what do you think it's gonna be?
It would be more than the one, it would be bigger than the one at Beaver Lake.
And what was the Beaver Lake?
Well, it was just estimated
30.
around 30, yeah.
So we're looking 50 to 100,000. Plus the 10-2 to find
Well,
out.
I mean, depending upon whether, if we get good plans, is it possible that our people can do it? Or do you go to, I mean, structurally, they're not that difficult. I mean, I've watched them do it all the time. With rock, geotech, I mean, laser shot them to make sure that the heights were right. It was a pretty straightforward process. So I don't know, it's probably not. Probably would want to go to somebody who's done that. I would
Who did the last one?
Seals Construction.
No, still.
Still, I'm sorry, still.
We got 3 bids, 2 of them at 175 and 1 at 114.
175 to 114.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, I actually Randy and I sat down with him and said, are you sure you can do it? Yeah. He said, why do you ask? He said, you gotta higher bids, don't you? So we raised 160 from a special assessment, and the rest of the money went into the dredging project.
What do you think, Steve?
I would hope to believe that the rainfall we had over the last 24, 26 months won't become our normal. I think we wouldn't have this discussion today if we hadn't had all that rain we did, you know, that preceding 12 months clear up to the month of June. But the problem is there now. So I'm kind of thinking what he's thinking there too. If we spend $10,000 to find it's going to cost $200,000, I don't know that $10,000 is a good expense at this time. So I'm having some other idea. We don't have the money to do the work if we get the bid.
Okay.
And if it sits for 3 years, it could totally change. I mean, things could be different.
Well, the question is can we afford to do it? I mean, 50,000, we could take it out of capital, which we could. I think that's what we want to do, but, so you're at 60 at that point. Because you're going to have to pay for the 10 out of capital fund. So do we want to get the 10,000 to see if it's going to cost us 50 or 100? I guess is the answer to the question.
Well, once we get the engineering done, then we can go out and shop for bids and just see where people come in at.
And part of that 10,000 was a charge for bids.
What's that?
Part of that 10,000 had a piece in there for the bid, to charge us for bids, and we took that out on the North Park. Correct,
This-
because we
this
did our
one?
own bids.
No, it didn't.
Didn't have a bid,
No,
but they
it had
charged it for
sheets.
bids.
It had the construction sheets, you know, the
I
detailed,
didn't bring it with me.
well, I just had it up. But it's not charging for them to go out and get the bid now.
Okay, that's not.
It's probably giving you the spec sheets to go hand out to Downard and other people to get the
that
bid.
charge.
No, that's why I opened it up, because I thought somebody told me that too. And I didn't see that in there. If that's in there, when we look closer at it, we will definitely take that out and we'll handle the bids ourselves, but.
I tried to get the money in amenities, and I tried to get a bank going like we did before, and
Yeah, I was there.
it's all about the health center, not about our lakes. And the number one amenity in the community.
Yeah, I was there.
You know, you heard it.
That was,
I'll try next year
it was interesting.
to get 10 grand or so.
Well, that's one option is we could spend the 10, we could always try to get amenities money for it. The lakes could get amenities money to fix it next year. Supposedly the fitness center's not gonna recur next year, we could actually get.
Well, they're gonna reoccur for at least the 30,000 they didn't get this year.
But I mean,
I guess.
it's just a point, this is our lake we're trying to protect here.
Yes.
Well, I say we spend the 10,000 to find out anyway. That's just my one vote.
Are you, but take it out of capital, you can't take it out of operating.
That's the only place we got. Dan?
Yeah. God, I don't like this one. Yeah, I think I support that idea though, because it puts weight to her claiming it next year, if nothing else. Because she won't have a solid bid for it, and because I don't think this is the last one. Unfortunately, I believe this is the rain that we're gonna experience from now on, so,
It's possible.
you know, so.
Yeah, every year we're gonna get heavy rains. We're gonna get that 2-3 inch
Yeah.
downpour in an hour. It's gonna big golly washer.
Until we become a desert.
You
know?
guys-
That's what kills us.
Yeah.
Big heavy rains like that.
Yeah,
It's becoming the norm, and if you go to any insurance company and look at how they're figuring their homeowners' policies and whatnot, and that they study this weather like you can't believe. I retired from one of those companies, and it's going to be the norm. It's just, and that's why the state of Ohio changed. Our dam has to be 24 inches of rain in 24 hours kind of dam, correct? I mean, it's all changed because of these weather patterns. So I think we're going to have to really think about these codes.
JJ?
I do too.
I don't really know enough about it right now, but from what I'm hearing, we're saying that we can do the study now for the 10 grand. And that should be able to last a year or so to see what's going on with this actual area.
Well, I would think that the study they do and the drawings they give us would be good for at least a year. I don't think something more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be something that's gonna sit on the shelf for a month and be bad.
Right.
It's just gonna cost us more next year. You know, just getting the plans this year, next year, you know, things usually go about 6% in my, you know, that I've seen. You know, not that that's substantial right now, but it's something that, if it can come out of the capital budget, then that's a good thing, but if you'd have to take it someplace else, that would be something that we might think about.
What's that gonna shorten us up on that we may need that we don't know today?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna hurt us. I mean, this is a fair
I
jump.
just,
Right.
I'm a little ahead of you on this whole thing, but I looked at these expenses and, I mean, what if we don't, if it's 6% more, what if we wait till we do it later into the year? We're not gonna do the work either way till we come up with money. I'm not trying to sway by the vote, I'm just,
We can table it till after we do the budget and.
we don't know how that's gonna come out.
Well, that's,
And where we're gonna have to make adjustments in that and.
we can
and do
table
other
it till
things,
January.
but, you know, if some hard decisions have to be made, to me, it doesn't make sense to spend 10,000 now if we make hard decisions after the first of the year. I have a bad feeling about it.
How long to contract with them? I mean,
To LMN?
yeah, is it
I
a,
think it might have said 30 days, but I don't think they've ever held us
Oh, I
to
wouldn't
that.
worry about that.
We
and
can
then,
go back to them in March.
plus their work is something they'll do and it's not time of the year sensitive
No,
or
not
anything.
really.
So we could push it out that 6 months and still have a
We've had
position.
We've had a really positive relationship with them.
Right.
And we're getting the low rate on her engineering study. We know she's the person who did all the work, the final work on our big dam.
Yeah.
And she knows us and she knows our stuff, and I can't speak more highly than that of her.
Yeah.
So I think,
And I remember-
as long as, if she leaves, then I start to, we'll see who she replaces. But,
Yeah.
but again, I don't think they're in any big hurry.
Okay.
We wanna wait.
I don't think anybody here is in disagreement, we need to do something.
Why don't we
We just don't
table,
know that it's a time.
I would look at Sue, is there any money you guys got to split this with us?
That's about what we have in our coffers right now. And
Like,
we'll be
what
using
about,
some
like,
of that
half,
for
we
the
split
year.
it in half?
Yeah, that's a possibility, And I think you should probably wait till after the new year, after you get your budget going. And it's like I said, it lasts for, once you get it done, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a survey. A lot of it is a survey.
right,
And figuring out the speed of that water and,
How much you need, how
Mhm.
deep it needs to be, what materials, those
so
are
it's
the
no,
questions.
it's
well,
not a
let's,
rush.
let's table it till January/February, when we've got the budget in front of us and it's all worked out. We'll look and see what we come up with. And thank you for volunteering to help out a little bit. You always do.
Try to.
Can I just ask one clarifying question to that? Beaver Lane, we didn't do it for reasons. Maybe we could get around that reason now.
Land access, private land access.
Yeah, but we could move it up, further up the,
That we can talk
Possibility.
about.
yeah, and,
Oh, I'm seeing what you're saying, yeah.
so I was wondering, is the flow, the negative effects of the, not having one, is it worse on Beaver Lane or, they're both probably similar, I would think.
Beaver Lane's a pretty major tributary, and
I think
I
that,
think going above it, because you have a house right there with a 24-inch pipe, and I wouldn't want to put anything downstream, because anything that blocks or slows anything, such as a silt trap or silt dam, that house floods. I mean, I used to live right up the street. Every time it rained and they were out on vacation, I'd go down there. And it's a 24-inch pipe. I'd go and break it all up with a pitchfork so it wouldn't flood and flood the whole lower level. It's just something to think
Are
about.
you talking about the brick house?
Beaver Lane, yeah,
The brick,
Yeah.
yeah,
Household.
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, putting one up above it would be a great idea.
See, the thing of it is, we have a club lot up above it,
Yeah.
where it would be, we could put one
Is
there.
it near?
And that's
right
easy
across from
access where our
Park?
guys can dig out easily
Right
with
across from Parks,
a backhoe.
right about there.
Yes.
from being on the lake of fishing in them spots, the Beaver Lanes, where it comes in, it is flooding in. It's worse over by, John Blankenship's right there. There's like.
I just want to make sure we're spending the money better.
It's worse over there.
Yeah, they're all gonna need it, so.
That's a good point.
Well, the depth at the north end docks, I mean,
Yeah, see,
we
Beaver
went
Lane,
around in through there, my depth finder, man, there's a huge, I can't quote you off the top of my head, there's a huge change over the last year in that depth of that water there.
Yeah.
And if we don't do something, you won't have to work docks, because these guys are gonna be able to float boats in there.
We didn't have North Docks for a long time.
yeah.
That's 230
And the
grand.
good thing is we have Beaver Lane engineering done.
We do.
Oh,
Yeah.
we do?
Yeah.
I did, okay,
Yeah.
well, can that engineering study just move up the road, in a? I don't think.
Well, not as far as the design, but the
Yeah.
study would be.
Right.
Would be
The water flow studies would be
Yeah.
the same.
At least we wouldn't have the same ticket, the 10 grand ticket we'd have.
Probably not, because most
It's,
engineering
you're
studies
probably talking,
are in quanta 5,000 anymore, you know.
Okay, well, this one we're gonna table to January, February.
okay,
And,
well, we'll
We're
remember
not
that
putting
part.
them to wrap groceries, or bag groceries. You want them to be right.
okay, moving on to the North Park sediment trap repairs.
Well, there was a complaint about our maintenance crew putting in dirt over the top of the riprap with the fear that it would wash out, which it probably will somewhat. But there was a reasoning behind that. You can't drive on that riprap safely in order to get over there to repair that part of the sediment trap. It's just dangerous to try to get a backhoe over there
Use it
Across
to
there.
gain access.
to gain access, yeah. And I think you're the one that told us that it was starting to wash out around there, and we needed to get a piece of equipment over there to do that. And it just wasn't safe driving across that riprap like that. Now, the question was, okay, did we need to use clay? Well, possibly not. We possibly could have used some other kind of a gravel on there or something. But at the time, I figured that was the best route to go in order to get something over there, in order to be able to repair that. It wasn't to get over there to mow that or anything, it was to get over there to
Oh.
take other kind of riprap
So
over
this is
there.
that little island.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
That wasn't the reason
Yeah.
behind doing that. The other thing was that, that member that lives right there, that has that dock right there, was complaining a lot about, not being able to get in and out of there. So we could also get over there to do a little bit of dredging in order to help her out. Because that spot right there, when the wind blows, all the leaves and all the debris goes right in that area. As you know,
That
it
must be
goes up to the North Park area, but it goes right over there in that little spot. And so that was more of the reasoning behind putting that dirt on there, so we could get equipment across there. But you
Well, I
can't-
should have checked the drawings for how you go about making that drivable.
I mean, it's already a third of it washed off. Last Saturday, we had a rain, half inch, unsaturated soil. A third of it's already washed down. We took pictures of it. Monday morning, they went right back in and covered it up with more dirt. And that probably took 10 to 15 yards of dirt to cover that whole thing.
It calls
I
out
mean,
the
it's-
exact type of rock you should use if you want to have a smooth system for your.
Yeah, I would have put number 2 limestone
Drawings
across
over
it.
there.
Well,
And
If
he
you
didn't
wanted
check
to
it.
drive
He
across
didn't
it.
call
Okay,
anybody,
well,
didn't
let's
check it.
one person at a
All
time,
right,
okay?
he just didn't call anybody or check it.
but that would have been an expense. The clay was free.
But it's
No,
not.
that's just
why
more
you put-
dirt,
why you
just
put
like the
dirt
clay
on
we put in our
something that you're
ditches.
Sifting out, it's counterintuitive to what the design of the dam is. You're supposed to keep dirt out of the lake, and you're putting dirt on a check dam.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean,
ridiculous.
it's uncalled
Especially
for.
since, they were involved in the original design of this. I mean, he knew what was going on.
But
So,
we also knew what our expenses were.
that doesn't matter, why are you?
Well, it does matter.
It does,
Because we couldn't
what
afford rock to
matters is
put on
you're
there.
gonna go back in and dig that dirt out of there, and that's gonna cost you too. So
Well,
what
I
does
mean,
that make sense?
We
It doesn't
realized it was
make
gonna
any
put a little bit in
sense,
there, but
Randy.
not that much.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And you've
I
got
mean,
drawings
you're
to
just dumping
follow.
dirt, that's not clay. Same thing what we're
It was
doing.
clay, yeah, it was clay we put in.
Okay, but either way, water hits it,
It
it's gonna
washed
wash.
out.
Just
It-
like the clay we
a
put in our
big chunk
ditches, trying to
washed
fix
out.
our ditches. It should have limestone riprap in it. Same thing with our ditches, but we put this clay that washes right down. We put a layer of asphalt, which in 5 years is just gonna probably wash away, be more crack on our lake.
We've had that asphalt in certain different places in over 5 and 7 years, and it hasn't affected it whatsoever. A good example is right here, going down from Bandy's. There's been that asphalt in there going on the right side going down. It's been there for years, and it hasn't affected it any.
Well, if we can get back to this check dam, I mean, it's just gonna wash out into the canal there. That's all that's gonna happen. We just asked
You
that you
can't
don't
put
put
dirt
more on there.
where water flows over
If you want it
something.
drivable, put what is called for in this $10,000 study, or almost $1,000 study we paid for, follow the rules and drive across it. And if you gotta go mow it or weed whack, we weed whacked it in under 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that wasn't the issue.
And that's, I understand you gotta get out there to repair.
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's not put any more dirt on something that's supposed to be sifting dirt.
But now where they dug the dirt to fix where it washed out Saturday night, they just went and took a scoop right out of the bank, which they just repaired, because like you said, for last year and into this year, it was washing out on the, if you're looking on the downstream side, on the right-hand side of it, that whole side of it was washing out. They did a fine job. They put bigger riprap, and now they just went and dug another bunch of dirt right off that end. I mean,
I just ask that we talk this stuff over, especially if Blake's Committee has been involved in the original project.
if they want to drive out
And
there,
you could even call and say, hey, we need $5,000 for some rock.
it wouldn't even be 5,000.
Or I don't know what it would be.
You
but
could get a
you
load of
could've
number
called-
twos for
put your
45
rock
bucks
in.
for a ton.
You could have put your rock in and now we wouldn't have this mess.
For probably 300 bucks, you could have put number twos across it, which is 3 to 4 inch
Oh, I know what
limestone,
twos are.
and you could drive right across there.
It all calls it out right here in these drawings, so.
I mean, you can go look right down here and see, you can see right where it washed it out, and then you can see right down the water once it clears up. I mean, a big pile of mud right below it now. I mean, it's just,
In Rick's defense, he's trying, like you said, to save money, but it's just, I think he should have known better. I think, you just have to kind of check this stuff out back to when we pay for these studies, that we really look it over before we just say, oh, I got a better way of doing it. That's why I'm kind of, when we go into blankenships, I'm all for, let's get a contractor in there to do that, not us, because somebody will come up with a, hey, this is a cheaper idea, and next thing you know, we screwed up. So, we have the possibility of screwing up, not that we would, but, it's just, get a contractor in there that's gonna follow these engineering, studies that we pay thousands of dollars for.
Okay.
And he isn't the only one that complained about this when he first saw it. I'm getting phone calls, they're pouring mud up there on this dam we paid $160,000 for. I don't know if it's a neighbor, some people I didn't even know, they're calling me about it, and I'm like, wow. Because I don't drive up there, I didn't see it, but he let me know about it. So. I just want to guarantee we're not going to
No, we're not
Pouring mud on
gonna,
that dam.
we're not gonna do it anymore.
there. That's
yeah,
all
I
I
mean,
wanted.
just,
Yeah.
it was a mistake. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, and now we gotta let it wash out.
Yeah,
And we have, they've got plans in here for how you can drive over the first check dam that comes right out of the woods to get onto that other side if you need to do any kind of maintenance work. So if you want that drivable, just follow the drawings.
Well, the only reason I don't know that we need it over there.
I think they designed it that way because originally we thought maybe we
Yeah.
would have to use our own equipment to dig that out, but our equipment's not long enough arm to dig in there, so.
You're absolutely
Right.
Okay. So we've got a commitment out of the general manager. We're not gonna dump dirt on there anymore.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for,
And we'll try to help out how we can on this other thing.
and that's much appreciated. We'll, move on.
And I don't deal with roads. He's talking about roads.
Well, we were, putting the clay in, which we own, we got a whole bunch of it over there, and putting the asphalt on top was what some road and ditch experts told us to do. So, there's gonna be differing opinions.
right.
One person's gonna say this, another one's gonna say that.
But, I mean, just
So
as far
far
as
it's working.
clay, I mean, that stuff's,
Well,
it's gonna wash.
that's your opinion. So far it's working.
Okay.
So that will move on and discuss it another time. Thank you both for coming in though. Pardon me?
This these things
Absolutely.
will help make things better.
Absolutely. And the reason they call Sue is because Sue's in charge of the place. She,
You're much better her than me. If you need Sue's number, call me, I'll give it to you.
Well, it used to be better call Paul, now it's better call Sue.
Better call Sue.
Did you work on the weather? Did
Will
you
you
work
take
on the
your
weather?
paid vacation off?
Yeah, really.
Did you
I
hear,
need some back pay.
did you hear Jim?
Huh?
He said, could you work on the weather now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you finished the lakes, did you work on the
Sue, Greg, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kitchen generator.
Basically, we got a quote from the company that's doing the generator down at the clubhouse. It came out to be about 30 grand. What that would do, it has to be a 3-phase generator. He saved us a little money by backfeeding on the wiring that we already have for the portable generator. It will also, we would tie in the office computers to that. And so,
Did you have a breakdown on that between the labor and the generator?
no.
What would that run? Besides just basically the fridges, freezers?
The important one was the walk-in.
Yeah,
It would
operate the
I have the same question.
It wouldn't operate the kitchen, it's just gonna.
No, it wouldn't operate a quick
Would it
kitchen.
do-
It would
How big
save
is
us
that
the-
one, which you talking about?
It was 30K.
30,000. How big is the
It
generator?
was 30K.
30K.
30K generator.
30,000. And the price was 30K.
Yeah.
I think it should run more than that. I'm not an electrician.
Well, it saved us some money by him using off the wiring that we already have in there.
You're saying you think it would run more equipment than just a walk-in? Is that what you're saying?
Well, again, I don't know what the draw is in
Well, that's what
walk-in,
we
but
do.
there's a lot there.
Some other stuff like this.
Well, we were gonna hook all of the freezers and refrigerators.
Yeah, I think what it does is takes away the need for any portables.
Correct.
Oh, yeah,
And
a safety issue.
it's,
I'm not disagreeing.
yeah, no, I have the same question, like, wasn't.
My thing is, if it's a one-time 30,000 install, it's a $10,000 generator. Exact same model, you can have a Trek ship drop right down here. They'll set it off underground or.
By the way, the price is only
22,
22,000.
I thought it was 30.
Yeah, okay,
I got that
22 is the one that I
confused
saw.
with 30K. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's 10 grand for a generator and $12,000 labor.
Yeah.
It sounds high to me. That's 12,000, that's an awful lot.
I don't know what happens at phase 3. That's my
Yeah.
But that is a 30K
Yeah.
generator.
3
Yeah,
days.
exact same generator, I pulled up, talked to him at Generators Trek, same make, model, the whole 9 yards, dropped, shipped out here for a little over 10 grand.
I did a 24K house with all the bells and whistles for a little under 10. At my house.
That's not
62 in mine,
three-phase.
so.
Pardon?
I have 62 in mine.
Yeah, I did 7 too. Yeah,
I got a guy that
That's
works
not
on
a
cash.
three-phase, so.
No, it's not a 3-phase.
How much is the one we're getting at the clubhouse?
Total with the install was, with amenities.
God, I thought it was 30.
Karen, wasn't it 35?
30.
35 is the number sticking in my head.
Yeah, I think that's what they.
32 to 35, somewhere in there. I
Right.
remember, right, okay.
It'd be advantageous for these groups to look at this cost of this stuff and not just take a bid for the generator and labor both. We gotta break this stuff out.
I don't know.
If this guy's sticking us for another 4 or 5 grand on the price of the generator, for what we can get, shame on us. Whether it's I don't care, shame on us. And this guy's making money on the cost of the generator on this too. That's nuts.
Doesn't hurt to get more bids.
Who are we getting bids from?
This one came from Power Lines, the electric. So
I've got a card from my brother-in-law. He does a ton of them in here.
Great.
I'll get you.
Give it to me. Let me get him in here and take a look.
I have another one too, that's Kohler, and, you know, it's supposed to be a good unit,
Sure.
and
I'll get Generac about the best two out there.
yeah, a little quieter, I was told, you know,
This one was a Kohler.
This was the
It
cold.
was a Kohler.
yeah.
What the one they did.
And ours was discounted pretty heavily because of
At the clubhouse.
the good
No, which
negotiation.
one did you say?
Kohler.
Not me,
Kohler.
your wife? No, no, my neighbor actually.
Okay.
No, Bob Sorrell and I did it.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's look at getting some more bids.
Okay.
Look at, you got a model number and everything.
Yeah.
Look and see what we could buy that direct and then pay somebody to do the labor. Not have our guys, I'm not going there.
No,
I mean,
they
we'll
don't
get you
Why
guys.
do that?
No, but pay Sheridan or somebody to come in, you know, we have a drop shift here, we save a ton of money on it, then
Could you get me your,
Yeah,
your guy?
I'll send it to you.
Although I will say, well, at the moment, all we're doing is getting bids, because
Right.
that's money.
It falls into this pretty much the same category.
Yeah, the allocation was $30,228.
I wouldn't mind jumping in front of that one though, to tell you the truth. For the clubhouse, just, you know, I'm with you, I mean, you know, how big is that?
How do you mean doing it? What do you mean doing it?
Just getting another bid for it, I mean, if we can get,
Okay, for here, or for down there also?
for there also.
Okay. Well, we can, well, the board can tell them that they need to come in with other bids before they'll approve the
Yeah.
30K.
I've just found in the past, being involved in Amenity's process, not always is there consideration for cost when you put in Amenity's money. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but
No.
we've ran into this and we've had overages and we didn't get bids and we didn't price it, and yeah, I think it's something we all need to start looking at and
I agree.
get our business under control here.
I agree.
I'm glad you do.
I don't know if they got a second bid, but we'll certainly ask them to
Yeah.
look into that.
I
we
did check
were
that
asked-
generator though,
We
because when he
were
sent it, I
asked-
checked it right away, and that
Yeah.
12 grand for installation on that generator was, wow.
Food
Biggest feeling I know guys
Services was
do ever
asked to
have.
get a second bid for the flooring, and we're in the process of trying to do that.
Yeah.
That's not,
Great.
not the easiest thing on earth, but we're in the
We're getting
process.
better all the
Okay.
time.
January,
Well, excuse me, but kind of the issue is getting apples to apples. You know, that's hard to do.
with the generator it is, with the floor that we're looking for, it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, yeah.
But not impossible.
Right.
As you're finding out, right?
Right.
Next,
January payrolls, there's 3 payroll, just FYI, there's 3 payrolls in January. So,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, that is, makes it tough sometimes paying the bills, especially right at the end of the year and beginning of the next year, so that's just an FYI.
Are you gonna end up with 27 payrolls, 2020?
It looks like
A
that.
lot, it happens like every 12 years.
Yeah, it looks like that. Penny said we've got 3 months that's got 3
The Y's
payrolls.
got 27 payrolls.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of places are having that issue.
Yeah.
So it's just,
that would make sense.
the question you have to ask, it doesn't really affect the hourly people, but the salary people, whether or not you're gonna split your pay up by 26 or 27.
Yeah.
Because you're on salaries, and so you just divide by 27, so you, versus 26. But- So your W-2 wages come out the same, but, so
Weekly amount could look different.
your bi-weekly amount will look different.
Right.
But you'll end up getting paid the same because there's actually 27 payrolls.
Right.
So you may want to look into that, let us know.
Yeah.
Who does that affect salary-wise? You?
Me, Penny, Brandon, that's it.
And all of us.
Yeah.
Divide that
Sure,
by
divide by
27.
27 is
And we can throw Sue in.
That's right.
She's not here. No, that's no fun.
I'll tell you so.
Thanks.
Okay.
It's what it is.
Calendar, I guess I could get to mine here. For the last week or last meeting of this month.
You don't wanna meet Christmas Eve?
If there's not presents
that's-
involved, I vote no.
That's a no. That's a no.
You're not allowed to take any.
That would then go over
You're
really well.
limited to only $50 a year, buddy.
What about Monday, the 23rd?
Well, that's more than I probably get anywhere else.
All available.
When's that? I'm sorry.
Monday, the 23rd?
Okay.
I'm fine.
You're fine?
I'm double checking. Give me a minute. 23rd?
Yep.
I may not be, but I'll get somebody else to pitch it for me if I can. I'm sure it won't be missed.
I wasn't gonna say that.
I think I can drive down that day.
12/23. Okay.
Our kids are flying to California that day, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
can come with you.
You just have your
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you flying the plane? I mean, I don't understand.
priorities here.
Okay.
Priorities.
Yeah.
'Cause we had other options.
Absolutely.
One of them was not Christmas Eve. Sorry, we're not that dedicated. We're just not coming up here on Christmas Eve for this.
Got it.
Also probably have carolers, usually they have a service upstairs.
Yeah. Which my wife will be in, and so I'll be required to be there. I shouldn't say required. I get the opportunity to come listen to them sing.
You are truly blessed.
Okay. Kitchen floor quotes.
Let's talk about
That's
the
all
floor.
right.
Here's what I ran into. I found another flooring company. I called them to come in and found out that he's probably going to be the one that does the installation for the original quote that we got. So I called another company. They came down. They wouldn't be doing anything other than what we already have. But they gave me a name of another company that does poured epoxy flooring. So they're coming down Thursday. So to get a quote off of them, it's a little different product. Interestingly enough, we wouldn't have to pull the existing floor up as long as there's no loose tiles, which there aren't. So it'll be interesting to see what they come back with.
They just put an epoxy layer on top.
Yeah, it's what they do in warehouses, and it literally, you just put a layer of thick epoxy over it. It's usually very shiny, looks pretty good. It can be very slick though. So,
It's wet, there's no absorption at all.
you know, so I'm a little concerned about a few things, but they can answer those questions, you know.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was concerned about too, was how slippery it would be.
And if it literally is, I'm sure they can tint it so you're not seeing what's below it exactly.
That's what I was gonna ask.
You know.
Better not be transparent.
No.
What kind of tile there now?
Pardon me?
What kind of tile there?
It's ceramic.
It's not asbestos?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah.
That problem we don't have.
Right.
There.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
That's good.
Sure we don't.
So did you know the floor is small tiles? It's not the real small ones, but it's tiles with the grout.
Yeah.
And in that kitchen environment, we actually had somebody 6 months ago down on their hands and knees with wire brushes scrubbing the grout, had it looking absolutely gorgeous again. And a week later, if the health inspection, food inspection would have gone on, we'd have got written up for having dirty floors because the grout just won't do it.
And plus they just had the widest grout line.
Yes, and the other problem with it is that is not a sealed floor in any way, shape, or form. So every time they mop, get a little water, get any kind of liquid, because they had a grease leak in one of the vats, and Penny's not happy the next day because it leaks onto her keyboard, her desk, her paperwork, and other stuff in that office area, and also some of those tiles right over in that direction. So,
So the epoxy would help be a solution for that too.
yeah, the floor that we got a bid
They
on.
should be able to do some kind of grid or something, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. I'm just saying, there's questions
Well, I
I
couldn't
have.
imagine how slick it is.
And opaque, make sure that
And you can polish it theoretically.
Yeah.
uh,
All right. So we're still working on estimates, and hopefully we'll have those here shortly. This is pushing back a little bit. We're not sure when we're going to do shutdown upstairs because this floor is going to get done during shutdown. So normally, historically, shutdown's been first 2 weeks of January. Depending on how this works, it could get moved to another absolutely terrible month, which would be the first 2 weeks of February. I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference
No.
business-wise, because both months kind of stink upstairs anyway, so.
Stink outside.
Yeah.
Just kind of general stinks everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's that nice winter, beautiful
Maybe I
winter
missed-
weather in Ohio.
So we're gonna get a bid on this, or we already have the cost?
We have one bid, and that's what we took to, it's for that,
Okay, the rubber, yeah,
Yeah.
I knew about, but not for this.
that's what we
epoxy.
based the amenities request on, and it was approved. It was argued by a couple of people, but it was approved.
I understand.
And, and they had a good point. Do you have a second estimate? No, we'll do that
Very good.
because we need to.
Problem.
So moving on from that one, the last thing on here is budget committee requests.
basically, what we've ran into is, there was an ad hoc committee put together by the board, and, they have been requesting reports. And I felt that should go through management committee or Jim or me, because they were not following the chain of command, is pretty much was my issue with that. Not that we can't provide those reports, and we will provide those reports. It's just that we're really busy in the office, and this is something a little bit extra, and I thought it would be, should go through the chain of command, pretty much. So Jim was aware, because I wasn't aware that they were requiring these, or asking for these.
Well, after we looked into that email a little bit more, they're requesting some PRLs, operating statements, to post on.
Can we tell more?
Excuse me?
Like who and what's the purpose?
Well, it's that ad hoc committee, and it's Mary Beth and Annie and quite a big group of people actually. They're getting together on what they're trying to do is be extremely transparent with where the money's going and the budget process and that sort of thing, and they want it available to members on the webpage, like the echoes are. And she, going forward, is fine, and they're requesting some prior last few months, and then they wanted a end of year for 18 and end of year for 17 for comparison sakes, and Randy thought they wanted 12 months of 17 and 12 months of 18, and that would have created quite a bit of work for somebody in here's holding those. And
They were just looking for your.
if you read down through it, they'd be happy if they just got this to get them started. And to Randy's point though, when you got 9 board members and a ex officio or whatever, and then you got the 5 of us, and if all of us start requesting files and reports and everything from office staff, then, you know, it has to have a funnel. I mean, it's got to go somewhere. And for the board, it probably should come to Jim and then to Randy and I, and we'll handle it.
I'm fine with that.
And for us, I mean, you know, you guys know, if you need something, we just, you know.
I just wondered what it was.
Was it the group is, they're trying to talk to people in terms of prepping for the next assessment increase?
Remember that now,
Trying to talk.
No, it's part of our thought of being transparent and knowing what's going on, help them and help us
So
also.
if there's no ulterior motives.
No.
But actually coming to me and then me talking to Jim and Randy would be the proper way to do it.
That would also eliminate requests from anyone else if we just had that to write everybody see it.
Well, that's the fear, is, you know, how many people are gonna start sending emails and wanting this and wanting that? And any member can walk up to the front counter and request a copy of the operating statement and they'll get it. It's not like we're hiding anything, it's just.
But it's the slicing and dicing that gets to be.
And they've worked with Jim on it in terms of talking about the
Right.
presentation. And
It's gotta be a controlled document.
It's, yeah, no, I think they're both their heart and their direction are.
Oh, I think they're,
Oh, yeah,
I think they're doing an awesome
Great
job.
grad at all.
I think they're doing great, so.
Excellent. Yeah.
But that
I'll
was,
send you a copy of the report.
that was the heart behind, that, and, that's all we got.
Probably won't go through the equipment, let's talk about that.
Yes. Let me just,
The one that's not written.
the one that's not.
We have extra copies dated by Dan if somebody wants.
Anybody
to-
want one?
The one that says Jim,
Yeah, that one, that's.
or this one that I've got.
So I've got 3, one that's unlabeled, one that's
unlabeled.
one is green.
Unlabeled. That's the final one.
Okay.
The unlabeled one, that's the final one.
Mine's got a star on
I
it.
got one.
Okay.
I usually
Which
use
one
a
is-
pair of sheets.
The one that's unlabeled, that's the most recent.
That's labeled?
That's labeled.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it, okay.
We really need those.
Here's my priority, Jim.
That doesn't affect us any, I don't know.
But he said, what are your priorities? I'm just keeping that going.
Alright,
I'm with you.
All right, so Randy and I kind of went through this listing to try to figure out, really we're looking at probably the next 3 years, trying to just whittle down how we're gonna spend our depreciation cash. If you're not familiar with this, what it does, starts out at the top, it has a current balance, 87,688.
hopefully we can put one more deposit in there, so that gives us about $100,000 in the year. 128 is what we'd like to put in there every year. That's 670 times 12. So, that's basically the top end amount of cash that we can spend on replacing our equipment. So we have to prioritize, where that spend's gonna go. So this stuff's all, obviously it's sorted by years based on remaining life. So, basically we're looking at 2020. We already bought the T-mower because we've got a deal on it. So that's why the balance is down to 87, is we already spent that 15,000 on the T-mower. It's down a ways. I think I put it in the 8-year slot. The new T-mower was 16,973 total. I put 8 years left of life. So what the real question then becomes is, okay, what can we spend for 2020, and what do we need to push off another year or two? So, and Randy brought up a point that he's looking at the radio repeater system right now. We've got in 2021. I think Randy said at some point that thing's going to become obsolete because it's all going digital. So we have to replace that at some point. I just don't know when. So
It's only 6,000.
yes. And you said Rick thinks the Durbin Run gate could possibly last
Right.
until 2021. So
Yeah.
Jim,
It's the least used.
yeah, Jim, if you go in there where it says estimated life for the Durbin Run gate where it's got a 1,
Yeah.
change that to 2. It should bounce it over to the next
It
column. And then I'll show you how to sort later, but it's really easy to sort.
Okay.
Well, it's all filtered, so you just
Yeah.
click the little filter button and it'll sort it.
Yeah.
So the question is, though, if you move that, what does that become as our number for 2020 spend? Because we really can't commit to spend 128,000 when we've got 87, possibly 97 if we make another
You
contribution.
move that, and I'm assuming that it's the projected annual expenditure line?
No, it's a contribution to the fund.
Just go down to the number that says,
Projected annual expenditure after moving?
there was 120,
It's 115.
so now it's 115. So, the problem with that is we've got 87. So, I mean, ideally, we're gonna make some contributions into it, but you overspend what you got now, you're just robbing the future at that point. So, we've gotta talk through these items. Randy, you wanna
Yeah.
walk through?
Yeah, we also, when Rick and I sat down and looked at this, we also looked at the preferred purchases, and we went through 1 through 5 is what it was, but that's how many is there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We moved the Durbin Run, so 1 through 5. Number 1 was the fairway mower, and of course that's the highest rated one.
What did we have a bid on for one of those? Was it 68?
No, it's less than that. Less than that.
Oh,
But that was on a new one.
The 68 was that a new one, or?
I thought we had a bid, it was like 55.
55 was on a new one.
Well, if we can adjust that, that's gonna help her.
Right,
Yeah.
and we can, it's just that's what it was at the time.
Well, if we have a new one, and we just figured out that we can, if we
Get used.
yes, if we look hard enough, we get pretty good deals on these.
Right.
Well, I mean, that makes the number work better if we can lower that to 55.
Well, we always do that.
Yeah.
We always do that.
But 55 was new,
Yeah.
not 68. That helps our number here.
Yeah, I'd rather do that now.
I put 55 in on here for now, but when we get to that, when he starts looking, I really think we need to go after something used, see if we can find something. If we can't, then we gotta do.
With at the lease, I mean, the thing that drove that was return leases.
Right.
Is there anything on equipment like this that says it's always in the fall or always in the spring?
It always was, it always in the small.
We need to,
After a year.
we need to pick up the phone and start now.
Yeah.
So what does that give us, Jim, for our
Projected annual brings it down to 102.
But I mean, we got what? Off that 15 grand. Of the T1?
It was 25 new, and we got 16 total change.
So, yeah, okay.
And zero.
And you double that here, if you were.
Well, so that was their number one.
Number one. Number two was the Laurel Hill gate controller.
Okay,
That was at 6. That was number 2.
that's 5,500.
That's
been
actually
on the
6,000.
list. That's been kicked down the road for a few years. So it's 6,000?
Yeah.
Well, let me put that in here.
Why is it 6 when we just spent 55 on the Raymond Gate?
Yeah, it is. That was bringing down to 55.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah.
5247.
This is the number that we had in there.
Okay, it's got 55 in there.
55 is a fair number, right?
Yeah.
5,500. What was their third?
Third is the motor for the security boat.
Okay.
We have been babying that motor for the last 3 or 4 years, and it's just,
Is that the 30 horse?
yeah, that's the third horse. Yeah.
Do we ever ask for donations or something like that? When somebody has a motor? Or are you worried about what you might get?
Does he go on his own? You don't know what you're gonna get, for one thing.
Or Dan's motor?
We've already got used.
Just steal Dan's boat.
That's one option.
He and Roger are good friends, I'm sure.
I know
Well,
there's a newer
6,500,
60 horse.
6,500
I
realistic.
know where there's a newer 60 horse.
I don't know, that's the number I was given, I don't know what a
It's pretty
horsepower
convenient.
motor was.
Do we get 30 or 40 or?
Doesn't matter, 30 is.
Better
what
yet.
they need,
Yeah, no,
but
Roger
I don't
can
know,
go
it's
to-
probably cheaper than a 40.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it goes up.
6,500 is probably not bad. You might be able to get a decent beach one too.
Well, we could contact, Tom Reiser and some of the people that in here and do a lot and ask them.
If somebody wants to upgrade a little bit or something.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go.
Well, I don't know, I think I'm gonna do that.
Randy can start calling around the marinas, see if
Right.
they have anything on
Good, yeah.
used, see what we.
Let's just start a campaign. Roger needs new motor. I'm sure it'll go far.
It might.